Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the NJCAA District 20 Region 8 Championships in Men's Soccer here at Seegert Field on the campus of Anne Arundel Community College in Arnold, Maryland. I'm Dave McHugh alongside Monica Moore as we get ready for this men's soccer action. And Monica, before we get to starting lineups, as we get ready for this one, quick thoughts on what we might expect from the two top seeds in this one.
Well, these two teams played each other earlier this season, and it was Northern Virginia that got the win back on September 5th, but that was a 1-0 win, so it was not a big margin of victory there, but of course a lot has changed for both of these two teams since that time. They've just gotten better and better. Both of them are very hungry. This is going to be a highly contested match. Both of these two teams going to leave everything out on the field today.
You could also argue September 5th was a long time ago in the game of soccer, obviously 2 months ago. Let's take a look at the starters for this one. For the Dragons of Howard, who will be in their road jerseys. At defense, it'll be Drew Myers, number 2. Also at defense, number 3, Sawyer Cannell. At defense, number 5, Bryce Waller. The midfield, Justin Breedlove, number 6. Number 8, forward, Steve Amanakwa, the freshman. Number 9, the forward, Quentin Valenti. Number 10, Christian Alfaro, the midfielder. Number 11, midfield also as well is Daniel Fuentes. At forward, Gabriel Rojas, number 14. And number 18, Adam Russo, the defenseman. He's also the backup goalie, the starting goalie. Number 1, Simon Bradford, 18 goals against this season, 1.03 goal against average, with a save percentage hovering around 75%. For Northern Virginia, better known as Nova, the top seed. The defense, number 2, Josie Marin. Midfielder defender, number 3, Andrew Bailey. Midfielder, Gabriel Rickman, number 10. Also in the midfield, also a little bit of defense, number 14, Oscar Mumbe. Number 15, Mohamed Al-Khaladi is a midfielder. Number 17, Yazid Yahape, the forward. Number 20, Enrique Salazar, the midfield defensive player. Number 25, Wyatt Bodmer, the midfielder. Number 27, Trent Dobbins is the midfield, and defense midfield, number 28, Everton Bailey. The starting goalie, they've got 3 who see a lot of time, but it'll be Andres Avila Riano who will start, the Bogota, Colombia native. And sophomore has 5 goals with a goal against average of 0.68. We'll take a break for the national anthem. As both teams will get ready for this championship game, there is a third opponent taking place today. Maybe not as bad as the women's game earlier, but Mother Nature is a factor today. The wind has picked up. Maybe it hasn't gone away at all, but it's more noticeable when it's not pouring rain. Women's game on and off downpours. The men's game right now, the clearest we've seen it since we arrived here around 9 this morning for both games. It certainly looks nice. We don't expect it to be horrible, but then again, we didn't really expect a lot of rain in the women's game, and it ended up being quite a bit of the factor. Monica, That's my player to watch. You have 2 players to watch, one from each team. Who do you got?
I do, and these 2 players have 2 things in common. Their names are both Christian. We want to focus in on, for Howard Community College, Christian Alfano, 6 goals, 2 game winners on the year. He had 2 goals in the semifinal matchup versus Prince George's Community College. A very exciting player on offense, so certainly going to be one for the Dragons that needs to have a good game today. And then on the other end of the field for Nova, it's going to be Christian Fuentes. 10 goals coming into this tournament. They knew he was going to be a leader for this program. I talked with head coach Thomas Connolly. He told me that's his coach out on the field. Anytime he needs to relay information to his team, he goes straight to Christian Fuentes. He really does a great job getting his team motivated. And let me tell you, that is something really critical to have, that player that really just communicates so well with his teammates and can get it done for you out on the field in terms of goal scoring ability as well.
It'll be Nova with the opening kick. The dark uniforms, we'll call them black, will belong to Howard with yellow numbers. White trim, the black shirt, shorts, and socks. Goalie in the bright yellow and black for Howard. And they'll be moving right to left across your screen. Moving left to right across your screen in the full white uniforms. White shirt, white shorts, white socks with, let's call it green numbers and yellow trim, will be Nova, their goalie, in bright orange. I like it. Black pants with yellow socks. You cannot miss the goalies in this one today, folks. And the referees are in, let's call it fluorescent green with black trim, as we are underway in what should be a pretty exciting game against 2 top seeds. But these 2 teams know to play physical. And the reason I say that, coming in, Howard County, 26 yellow cards, amazingly no reds. Their opponents with 21 yellows and 3 reds. Nova, 15 yellows and a red on the season. Their opponents, 17 yellows and 2 reds. Now, if you tuned into the women's game, you may have heard me say that these 2 women's teams were not that competitive, or not that physical, because very few yellow cards, and it turned into quite a number of yellow cards, including a 2 yellow card, red card ejection for 1 player for Anne Arundel. Monica, looking at what we see from these 2 teams, fouls about 11.5, 12 per game for Howard, and for Nova about 10 fouls per game. It's going to be physical to some degree.
Well, certainly, and there's a lot on the line today. I mean, both of these 2 teams are fighting for the opportunity to move on. It's very important to them. That's what we saw in the women's game. It was just emotions got a little bit high in that contest. So far, it's been Howard that has gotten the opportunities early on. It's been Quentin Valiente that has been very active for the Dragons up front. He had that header in the early goings, and they do seem to be looking for him. He's in the center of that line up front, plays forward. They seem to look to him. He has 1 goal, 3 assists. He had an assist in the semifinals. So another one of the players on offense that's going to be critical. But obviously in the junior college game, you need to have lots of different offensive weapons. And these 2 teams certainly have a lot of players that can ignite things offensively.
If you're wondering, it's 64 degrees. Trust me, does not feel like that. We both have our jackets on, and happily so. Wind, though, is certainly blowing today. We're on the edges of some rain. Right now it says on the weather station around the corner from us that it's gusting to about 10 miles an hour. I'd argue that's wrong. There is a wind advisory up right now, even a coastal flood warning. You think that's no big deal. We're actually on kind of a peninsula here. There's water to either side of us. Not that it's going to affect the game, but it just tells you just how much rain has been in the area and how much wind is blowing as the ball goes back to the keep, and we will start it up. We're 3 minutes into this one.
Valiente doing a nice job trying to get his teammates involved there. He was looking to Steve Amakwa up top, but he, as we said, has been very active early on.
One thing I've noticed, we didn't see this till late in the women's game, both defenses are tightening the field. Both defenses playing up and within 30 yards of each other at midfield. But Howard's got an opportunity here. Top of the box. Right-footed shot deflection. Nearly cost him. The shot coming from Fuentes, aforementioned by Monica. The deflection by Mumme.
Corner kick, Howard.
I should
Mbome
say, thank you.
Is one of the top defensive talents for Nova. He's a player you absolutely want to know about on the defensive end for this club. He is really an unsung hero for this team, really anchors that defensive back line. We're going to be talking a lot about him this afternoon because he really just does it all, kind of a crafty play there.
Yeah, a little back heel.
Justin Breedlove.
Yeah, a little back heel nearly got dangerous, but Marin was able to clear it. Howard, again, tightening the midfield. So, big collision at midfield. Ball depossessed, and Nova's got possession. Nova in the midst, and Monica will certainly talk more about it. Midst of one of the best seasons in program history. Can't break the top of the box. Howard will try and come back the other direction.
And this is Alfano, number 10, battling it out against Mohamed Al-Khaladi.
Mohamed Al-Khaladi from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Nova, the all-name, all-country team. It is an international squad.
An international squad, which in the game of soccer, not unsurprising, and of course in the DC metro area as well. But you just look at the pedigree, some of the schools that these athletes went to, and it's really a great collection of athletes on this Nova club. Dave, as you said, they really are in the midst of the best season, I think, in program history. Their first season that they've been nationally ranked. 2010,
they had a breakout year. Certainly did well, but not to this extent. 11-2-1 coming in after a 4-9-1 campaign last year. They're 4-2-0 at home. Pretty comfortable on the road. 7-0-1 with one tie being a neutral game. Being the last game that technically goes down as a tie. They advanced on penalty kicks. Howard County coming in 12-5-1, 9-10-0 last campaign. They were 9-2-1 in the Maryland JUCO Conference, not 7-2-0 at home, 4-3-1 on the road, and won their one neutral game. Of course, that was the semifinal here on Friday. As both teams still feeling each other out just a wee bit and playing aggressively.
Nice idea by Rickman. He's a player that we haven't talked about yet for Nova, but just another one out on the field. Again, we've talked about they have so much talent on this club, but Rickman's just another one in terms of his ability to set up his teammates. 12 assists on the year so far. Very unselfish, just a savvy, smooth soccer player. You're going to see him make some good runs today, see him make some good decisions in terms of how to set up his teammates.
You talk about the diversity on this Nova squad. 11 different countries represented. That doesn't count anybody who may have foreign backgrounds who are from listed hometown as Virginia or elsewhere. Jamaica, Monaco, Brazil, Ghana, Saudi Arabia, Sierra Leone, Yemen, England. You also have two from England, actually. You have, as well as the Congo, Colombia, a diverse group, to say the least.
Well, and certainly, you get a unique experience playing, with soccer, but also just such a learning experience to have so many different athletes from different cultures and backgrounds. I mean, what a great experience for these players to be on a team like that with just so much diversity.
The defense keeping it tight on both sides. We haven't really gotten out of the midfield too much. So far, the only goalie to see any action with the ball in his hands is Riano for Nova. As both teams continue to feel where they can take advantage of either team. And again, we talked about their last meeting being September 5th being a 1-0 affair. Nothing says we shouldn't expect that, except these are two potent offenses. Nova coming in, averaging over 4.5 goals a game while averaging just 1.1 allowed. Howard coming in, scoring almost 3.5 goals a game while allowing 1.3. So both teams will score and maybe give up one, so it's a little odd that their only game against each other was 1-0. I don't necessarily say that's what we should expect here.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see which team finds their rhythm early on. I think Nova felt like in their semifinal contest that they had difficulty doing that, as an injury there to Al-Khaladi.
Al-Khaladi with the injury and coming in a little aggressively was Amankwa. And good sportsmanship to check in on him. It looks like he just got his foot kind of up into the chest there. A little too high.
But as you said, it really seems like both teams kind of feeling each other out right now. We've been in the midfield a lot. Neither team able to get much of a tactical advantage. It seemed like in the early goings that it was Howard. They were doing a nice job, as we talked about, utilizing Valiente up front, trying to set him up a bit. But so far, really just an even match.
Nice play to the right. Nice step in. Inadvertent, but still a foul. doesn't like it, but Rojas just ran out of room before Rickman had cut in.
A very nice idea by Alcalati.
Rickman with a regular last name, considering he's from Brazil. Apparently he didn't get the memo from the rest of the guys. They will test our pronunciation capabilities here tonight as we are underway. Again, the winner of this game will move on to the NJCAA championships in 2 weeks. Those championships to be played in Herkimer, New York. If you're not familiar, in the Utica area. I was almost tempted to go up there and call those games, visit in on some relatives, but that is a haul. It'll be rolling out of bounds, speaking of a haul. That one took its time, and we will get a goal kick as we are knotted at 0, or I should appropriately say 0-0. 10 minutes into the first half.
Dave, you were talking about that semifinal game. Really about as exciting as it gets in terms of penalty kicks for Nova. They had 6 made penalty kicks to win that one. It was literally penalty kick make after make in that contest. Really a gutsy performance by both teams in the semifinals. And I have to tell you, I mean, that is the hardest way to lose. That's probably a rather obvious statement, but when you have just fought so hard and played so well, to lose it on penalty kicks, you certainly have to feel for Montgomery, because that is a tough way to lose in a contest. And when those two teams had played earlier in the season, Nova had won 2-0, but Nova just felt like they played really tight in the contest. It was a bit sloppy, not their characteristic performance. They weren't 100% happy with the way that they played, but they really just gutted it out in the penalty kicks to get that victory over Montgomery. And that was the late game as well on Friday night.
When you play 90 minutes of soccer plus an additional 20 minutes of sudden golden goal soccer and then go the distance of the 5 rounds and go into extras, nice head ball back to the keep, anything is going to gut you in that one. That's a tough one to celebrate winning as well, as you see the goalie release it to the near side. That's a dangerous throw considering the wet field conditions, but Marin able to chest it down and control it nicely. Gets it up ahead, looking to release. Oh, good idea. And a big collision and an elbow up into the goalie's face. And I think Bailey is going to get at least a yellow, and the yellow is out as Bradford is down. It was an offsides to begin with. Are they going to? They're arguing, fans and some of the players are arguing that Bailey deserved a red for an intentional yellow or intentional elbow. I didn't see it that way. I saw it as definitely a hard collision and maybe one that was well after the whistle, but I don't see it as being a red card scenario.
I think the officials have gotten this one right. Bailey is going to leave the field.
Yeah, we should point out junior college rules. You get a card, you have to exit to the next substitution opportunity.
Simon Bradford still down on the ground.
He took a hit, clocked, and again, I don't think Nasir Jafari will enter in here for Bailey, who will take a seat until at least the next opportunity to come in. I don't think Bailey's intent was to take out Bradford. I don't think he saw him. It was after the whistle. It was bang bang. Bradford was in a defenseless position, but I didn't see any ill intent. I don't think that would have justified a red. Now, don't get me wrong. The message has been sent by the officiating crew. You see one more thing like that, and we may start seeing the red card a little sooner.
Well, and the officials also obviously are always trying to make sure the goalkeepers get protected. That is a very big point of emphasis, and Simon Bradford did take a very hard hit. He's still getting checked out by the training staff out on the field.
Out of the box, too, we should point out. That's outside the penalty box. He was coming up to play it with his foot and got leveled after an offsides call. It was about 2 steps after the whistle.
He looks to be okay, a very good sign. He's heading back towards his goal. Very happy to see that Simon Bradford appears to be okay.
We'll keep an eye on Bradford. Goalie's about the only position on the field where they can be whistled, the play can be whistled dead for an injury, and they do not have to be forced out for a substitution. Anybody else in that scenario on the field would have had to sub. So we've gotten our first yellow card of the game, and we'll see how that changes the complexion of things here. A bang-bang play off of an offsides. And we'll see if that fires up Howard a little bit or if both sides can keep their heads about them just a little bit for the rest of this one.
Well, of course, Andrew Bailey will have to play very smart. We saw this happen in the women's game. We got a player with 2 yellow cards who got ejected, and Anna Rundle had to play with a man down for the remainder of the contest after that point, and it was a huge difference maker.
Well, trying to rally. They were down 2-1 and about 11 minutes left. They got that second yellow on, I would say, definitely a little bit more of a purposeful elbow. Oh, Valiente, but it called off. And this goalie now goes down, and this is definitely inadvertent. In the meantime, the FAR official put up his flag, but now the other goalie, it will be Riano this time, who will need to get checked out as he collided with Valiente, who was trying to secure the goal. And I'm a little confused as to why
it was actually Amonkwa. I think that he collided with Valiente, sent the ball in, and Amonkwa, I think it was Steve Amonkwa, collided with him, and again, completely, he was trying to play the ball, but regardless,
back to the goalie.
Avia Riano really got the worst of it there. It looks like his knee is what he's holding, but
that or his arm.
Difficult to see because the trainer is standing right in front of us. But
now we're shielded. I'm also confused because the FAR official put up his flag as if there was an offsides. The problem was the ball was ahead of the players, so I'm not sure where the offside supposedly took place. It was a beautiful cross by Howard.
When I talked with head coach Thomas Connolly, one of the words that he utilized to describe Andres Avia Riano was irreplaceable.
Well, considering that's interesting, they played 3 goalies this season.
Well, but Riano seems to be the one with
definitely the one with the most minutes.
Majority of the playing time, and I think in this championship contest, you want your experienced goalkeeper. He's a sophomore out there. He's a player that played a few years ago with Nova. He came back to the program. He was a player that took a bad shot to the head in the semifinals, but they had kept him out there because, again, he is the goalkeeper that they want in the goal. And Coach Connolly told me that if he is not in the game, it is a problem for his team because he is so critical, and he has made some great saves for this Nova club. He is still getting attention, surrounded.
Joshua Fleming is the backup goalie in position to enter should he need to answer the question as to who the backup would be. Riano's to his feet. He's shaking his right hand. The trainer is going to walk away, and Riano's going to put his glove back on oh so gingerly. So Fleming can take a seat and relax a little bit longer, but we will now keep an eye on both goalies.
So an interesting start to this contest with both goalkeepers with some early injuries, but they're going to gut it out right now.
And I think for Nova, Al-Khaladi, was he the one who picked up the yellow?
No, it was actually Andrew Bailey, number 3.
Yeah, he is not entered. I thought Bailey had re-entered the game, but he has not. So Howard trying to use some momentum here. That one will go out of bounds despite the efforts of Fuentes. But it will be a throw-in for Howard as they ruled it one off a Nova head.
And Howard has been fairly dangerous when they've been able to get this close to goal. They've done a really nice job. Again, it's really been Valiente that's just stood out to me. They seem to be looking for him on every possession to try to make something happen. He seems to be.
It's interesting because he only has 1 goal and 2 assists, but he's only played in 9 games. This is his 10th game and 3rd start on the season. Team leader is Amakwa, 15 goals, 2 assists, 32 points, with 2 game winners, along with both Amakwa, I should say. Steve Amakwa is who I'm talking about. Francis Amakwa, also off the bench, 9 goals and 3 assists on the season with 2 game winners as well. Yes, it's the Amakwa brothers, both of Highland, Maryland, and wearing 7 and 8, respectively.
Nice defensive work by Marin right there.
Yeah. And a good job of Howard earning it as well. So Howard will get the corner kick. 31-23 left to go here in the first half. We are knotted at zeros as Howard will position themselves for the end swinger. Nice ball to the top of the 6, flicked on by the defense.
Again.
Yeah.
He has been very strong early on. Again, no surprise.
Yeah.
one of the captains on this squad for Nova. That was a great corner by Fuentes, really right on the mark.
Sawyer Cannell will come down from his defensive position to throw this in, which tells you well, I was going to say tells you one thing, he can chuck it, but he actually throws it short. And Howard will try and restart the offense here from coming out. Tried to pull the offside trap, didn't realize there was a defensive player well back. Tried to get a handball in the box, not called, but it was Jose Marin who kept things on sides there, sitting 5 yards behind his defense.
Marin, really an interesting player. He's a defender. We've talked about his defensive work. He was the goal scorer in that earlier meeting between these two teams this year. So really a player that can do it all. He has 5 goals to his credit. But right now holding down those defensive responsibilities with Mbome on that back line.
Interesting 15-minute start to this one as both teams have probed essentially the defenses to see what they've got. Howard has had a little bit more control. It's been down in Nova's defensive box a little bit more than it has been in Howard's side. Both goalies have been taken out, not literally but physically. We're going to keep an eye on Howard's goalie Bradford, who got absolutely crushed, and then Riano, who has gotten a hand injury for Nova. We'll keep an eye on both keepers in this one, as both teams looking to move on to the championships for the NJCAA.
Rickman really showing some speed here in the center of the field. Nice idea, a little too much on it, but going to get there in space. Nice job by Bailey to get to that ball. Thought it was going to allow the defender to get there and beat him, but Bailey really with a great amount of speed.
Number 9, Christian Fuentes.
As we get some substitutions.
Replacing number 17.
If you're trying to figure out the out-of-bounds line for this game, or any of the lines for the field, we are on a marked field that is for football, field hockey, lacrosse, men's and women's, along with soccer. The lines we are using are very faint, pale lines, is the best way I can describe it. Monica might be able to describe that color better than I. The 18-yard box comes out to about the 8-yard box on the football field, if that makes any. So look for the 8-yard lines on the football field to give you an idea of where the penalty box starts. The goal lines are at the end of the end zones for the football, and the out-of-bounds lines are the furthest width lines on the field. Is the best I can describe it for you. Ignore the blue, ignore the red, ignore some of the yellow, and ignore the white. Does that help you?
Well, it is a little difficult to see the boxes,
which
is the most important thing to be able to see out on the soccer field.
Just remember, can't keep it in bounds. We'll set up a corner kick. But remember, back to the lines, that we have an 18-yard penalty box. We're playing to the back of the American football end zones. So the 8-yard line of the football field is the penalty box line. For your reference, it's a good question that we got on social media about the lines. It's actually easier to see today, or this game, than it was for the women's game. Flick in and headed out. Tremendously job.
Again.
Yes.
He has
Steve
been very active.
Dragons.
His brother, Francis, has not entered the game as of yet.
And Fuentes getting another corner kick opportunity here. He's done a nice job putting these on the mark.
They had an idea there, bringing the defender in. Now he'll send one into the box. This one's loose in the 6.
And that was Rojas getting a piece of it.
Goal!
Christian Alfano, our player to watch for Howard. He has been outstanding in this tournament so far, just feeling it for Howard Community College.
I got distracted because Breedlove had gotten a foot to the face on the initial clear attempt. And I thought they were going to whistle it, and the next thing you know, there's a goal being ripped.
Well, you know, Dave, in a game like this, the way that we have seen this progression, you had to know that the set-piece opportunities were going to be important, because neither team just able to set very much up offensively. And if you give a team too many corner kick opportunities just like that, they are going to get a good strike at it, and Christian Alfano just put it right on the money for Howard. That was a beautiful shot, a very difficult one for Riano to try to stop.
So with about 27 minutes left to go in this one, now Farrow gets the goal unassisted off the deflection. And it's a 1-0 lead for Howard. Early in this one, Alfaro.
Well, and as we talked about, it was going to be which team was able to find their rhythm early on, and Howard has been the team that has had the offensive rhythm up top. And again, the other thing that's working so well for Howard right now is the balance on the team. We talked about this. You have to have multiple players who are scoring threats. Valiente has been so strong. Steve Amankwa, and of course Christian Alfano. Lots of offensive threats up top.
So Howard's got the early 1-0 lead in a game that only featured 1 goal the last time these two faced. I kind of sense this will be different this time, as we've got just under 26 minutes remaining in the first half. Flick on did not work, but Howard still with the pressure here. Big collision, undercut, and they're going to call, oh, it was a throw-in as the assistant official to our right signals the ball was out of bounds. So it'll be a Howard throw-in. Howard with the lead on Nova, 1-0 here. Dragons and Nighthawks. Dragons about the only team in the finals here that's not a bird, though it flies. As we had Riverhawks and
substitution. Checking in
as we get another substitution. We had 2 birds in the first game, and now we got Nighthawks and Dragons in this one. So taking a seat for Nova is Al-Khaladi, and into the game comes Abdullah Almari, the Yemen native.
We had Raptors in the
Raptors, that was it. Thank you.
First game.
Raptors and Riverhawks, Nighthawks and Dragons. I feel like there's a fantasy thriller book waiting to be written with this.
We do have pretty awesome mascots in this tournament final, I think.
We really do. Got to give them some credit. She is Monica Moore. I am Dave McHugh. Hope you're enjoying this game from Arnold, Maryland, on the campus of Anne Arundel Community College. Just north of the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. We are between Baltimore and D.C., for those of you unfamiliar. For those of you familiar, you certainly know where we're located. It is a windy day, though not nearly as rainy as it was this morning for the women's championship game.
Yeah, it's really interesting how this worked out, because the afternoon was just supposed to be an absolute washout, 100% chance of rain, thunderstorms, and for whatever reason, it has cleared up nicely for this contest so far. We
are in a nice little slot in the rain right now. Don't know how long it will last.
Hope it lasts for these players, because the weather was absolutely
miserable.
A factor in the first contest. It was a sloppy game. I think both teams, it exhausted them. And when you have the limited rosters that you have, they were just absolutely at the end at that game, just absolutely left everything out on the field.
Nova player down. It's our favorite defender, Mumbe. And, yes, you're right. The weather took a factor on the women. The field's a little bit drier for this men's game due to the wind blowing and the rain not falling. Not that the ball's still not skipping. We're expecting more rain today. It's just a matter of when it gets here, and thunderstorms along with it. We're really hoping it comes in around, about 6 o'clock. Sound good to you, Monica? That's well after we're out of here.
After everyone's had a chance to get home safely.
Exactly. That's the time I'd like to see it. Nice job there of pressure.
Is just everywhere out on the field.
Good
a
pressure.
Very talented player, extremely athletic and skilled for Howard.
Miscommunication and mistiming and misviewing, whatever you want to call it there. Either case, it goes to Nova, and the assistant referee puts his flag up because Bailey was not paying attention, stepped over the line on the throw-in. So it turns it over to Howard for the throw-in instead. .22 minutes left to go here in the first half. 1-0 lead for Howard on Nova. Nova, the top seed in this tournament. Howard, the 2 seed. Unlike the women, the 2 top seeds moved on to the championship. In the women's game, it was 2 upsets. 3v4 took place in the first half.
Rickman just coming out of nowhere.
He doesn't like the call going against him, but it clearly went off his foot and out of bounds. But, yeah, he came out of nowhere to play that one. Oh, good idea from Fuentes, who started booking it upfield. Unfortunately, his teammate Myers was not ready to boot it to him. This will go out of bounds off the effort from Marin, and another throw in. This time it'll go to Fuentes, past a diving Jafari. Cross in front, Jafari gets a foot on it before it became trouble.
Great clear once again.
You're right. Tremendously good clear, and immediately the defense clears the box.
But you see just immediately, Howard, they're doing such a good job winning these balls in the midfield. It's really taken Nova out of a lot of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, Nova's got no space to turn. They've got no space to possess. They've got no space to pass. And a long clear downfield is going to force.
And it was a long clear, but you see Valiente's speed. I mean, he almost got there. A nice job by Riano just to come out and stop that right on its tracks, because Valiente, what a speedy forward for Howard Community College.
We'll get a substitution here. Ibrahim Ngora from Alexandria, Virginia. This is where you get into the lots of names, but not necessarily from a foreign country coming into the game, as Salazar will take a break. Bangura coming into his 15th game of the season, 5 goals, 3 assists for 13 points, 30 shots, and 17 of them on goal with a game winner this season. So what is interesting is Nova's bringing still offensive options off the bench. As good as their starters are, they go deep, and they've got plenty of options to bring in with them. And same is true with Howard, but more so for Nova.
But again, when you look at their record, that's what you have to have to be a championship caliber team in this league, is you have to have that ability to bring players in off the bench who can be scoring threats. You have to have players that can step up, because these teams know each other too. I mean, they play each other during the regular season. In
nice
area.
Through ball. Stays on his feet, into the corner, cross coming, and cleared. What a great through ball to set that up for Nova, and they're still coming back. Looking for an opportunity. Dobbins with it on his foot. Changes his mind, goes to the far side. And Howard forces it back, and they clear the box and push up, which gives us a chance to maybe go back to Monica to finish your thought as the quick offensive threat there as it goes out of bounds.
Well, again, there are no secrets at this point. You don't necessarily need a scouting report, because you know these two teams, you know who their scoring threats are. So you have to have a lot of different weapons. And that's how you get to the point that these two teams are. These are two exceptionally well-coached teams. This was a championship final I think everyone excited about.
Agreed.
And you see Bradford that time turning away.
Yes.
Certainly wanting to shield himself.
A little gun shy. Don't blame him a bit. He took a hit earlier on, if you missed it. Absolutely crushed after a whistle. Nice flick on. Fuentes wins it. Releases him.
Valiente again, just the degree of speed, but of course it's Mabome coming
but a
to
miscommunication,
make the defensive play.
Because Riano was coming out to play it, and I think he may have had it. Almost backfired on Nova there.
And again, you're letting Howard get in this deep towards goal right now. They have been very dangerous.
Howard with a substitution now. Fuentes is going to take a break.
Checking in for the
Coming
Dragons.
in is number 7.
It's
It's Steve's twin brother
11,
who will enter the game. I say twin. I'm kind of making an assumption there. We'll see what the Makwadua brothers can do out there together. 17:45 left to go here in the first half. And a miscommunication gives Nova the ball back.
And you see the players just drying the ball off, because, again, it is still so slick out there, even though it's not raining. I mean, these kind of things that they have to be thinking about, because even that, you don't get as much of depth on your throw, or it can slip off your hands. We saw that happen potentially once in the girls' game. There was a missed throw, which could have been due to just the player changing her mind, or because the ball is just slippery out there because of the field conditions.
Marin doing the throwing duties. He's got a cannon on him. And they get a Howard flick on. Nearly broke through. Ball's up. Fight for the 50-50. It's going to enter the box. Oh,
clutch
lurking
play.
Was Fuentes.
Sawyer Cannell.
Cannell cleared it, but Fuentes was lurking. Chip in for Fuentes. Collision at the top of the box. No whistle. Good no call. Shot from the wing. Goes all the way across. And kicked out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick. Good no call by the official at the top of the box. 1, nobody had a play on the ball. 2, they just got their feet tangled up with them. And the official didn't buy into the melee. Official's done a good job so far in this one. It's been a hard-fought game so far in the opening 30 of this. We've had a couple tough collisions. One collision definitely warranted a card and got that. Howard and its fans wanted a red card, and I think it was a good decision not to hand that out. Good control so far in 2 teams, as you said, Monica. A lot on the line. They want to play for that Division III NJCAA National Championship in Herkimer, New York. They're going to play with everything they got to get there, considering you get 2 weeks to rest up. Watch out on the near side here. Jafari on the defensive end. He's got the ball here, but he almost went on a runner that they could have sprung him loose. Tries to cross to the top of the box. His intended target was Fuentes, but it cleared by Howard's defense, which does a good job listening to its keeper and getting out of the box when he wants him to.
And Amakwa once again trying to use that speed of Valiente. You see Mbome, though, he is keeping track of Quentin Valiente.
I would say Valiente still got a little bit better speed, but the defensive savvy is coming into play, knowing where to position himself, when to turn on the jets, and where to get to keep him from being
It has been a fantastic matchup between those 2 players, with Mbome trying to keep Valiente in check, seeing Valiente just turn on that speed, trying to get to some of these long balls that his teammates have been sending forward for him.
Mbome is fun to watch. Reminds me of a lot of players you see even at World Cup level, with just a little stocky but lots of speed and lots of IQ, able to do amazing things in the course of a game, and we've only watched him for about 30 minutes so far. Ball to the far side. Nice job to steal it there by Rojas, as Howard will get it back and will now try and get it up to their forwards, who can do all kinds of wonders. But a good job defensively that time by Dobbins, and Jafari will clear it up. Trying to settle it down, and finally will do so. It'll be the other brother, Francis Amakwa. Now his brother Steve has it on his foot. We'll get it to his brother Francis. Francis cannot track it down. Gave up on it a little early maybe. But that ball is skipping on the ground a little bit, and that's where that timing will fail.
But it was a good idea, and again, it's been the difference of what has happened in this first half, is Howard has just been a little more on point offensively. They've been able to string together some nice runs. They've controlled the midfield a little better, whereas Nova has really struggled to put together anything offensively. They have been trying to work through Rickman in the middle of the field.
Tried to release Fuentes there. As you properly called his name out, he produced a play for you. Francis Amakwa against Jafari. Jafari sticks his foot out and steals it. Up ahead to Bangura. Dancing on it is Dobbins. Back heel by Rickman.
He's so good fun to watch.
He is. There's some great skills on display here today, folks. These guys are having some fun out there, as sliding to break up the pass there was Rojas.
He really is. Just watching Rickman play, I mean, he is so talented. He's so skilled out on the field with what he's able to do, makes very few mistakes. The timing, impeccable, just putting the right amount on the ball. Just like I said, he's really just not been able to do as much today. I think Howard has done a nice job shutting that down a bit.
Nice feed into the corner, but a little too far on the step by Bangura. Back to Rickman, the Rio de Janeiro native, starting in playing in his 15th game. The sophomore, 10 goals, 2 assists, 38 shots, 24 of them on goal, 3 of them game winners this season for a squad that is 11-2-1 under Coach Thomas Connolly, the Georgetown University graduate in his 4th year with Marlena Mendoza and Roberto Rivera Greenwood as his assistant coaches.
You know, when I talked with Coach Connolly, he was very quick to credit his coaching staff.
Yeah,
in terms of his team's success this season, and he told me that, you know, particularly in that semifinal game, relying on his assistants in terms of the substitution calls that they were making, it was just indispensable. So, you know, that we talk a lot about the head coaches in these games, but you cannot fail to mention the assistants that they have working with them, because to get to this caliber, it really takes that type of thing. And that was, again, something Coach Connolly was very quick to make note of when we talked yesterday.
Rickman's got the ball for a direct kick. He's 45 yards off the goal at an angle. Pops in a beauty of a floater. Fuentes with a flick on. And Jafari can't get there in time as the ball skipped as it hit the ground. It'll be for a goal kick as we'll get a substitution here.
For Northern Virginia, number 15, Muhammad Al-Khaladi.
Al-Khaladi will return to the game and give Rickman a break, it looks like. Nope, it's 18. It's actually Al-Mari from Yemen.
And Al-Khaladi was very active in the opening minutes of this game, so with a bit of fresh legs now, certainly expect for him to try to make something happen pretty quickly back into this contest for Nova.
A couple of head balls, and it ends up in the defensive end for Nova. We should point out, if you're unfamiliar with substitutions, oh, good idea from Steve Amamakwa. He was trying to release him, but put too much foot onto it, and he had 3 guys sprinting on, including his brother. But back to my point, the junior college level, it's unlimited substitutions in both halves. It's a little more restrictive in the NCAA level, so if you're familiar with both or unfamiliar with the junior college, that is the biggest difference. Outside of you get a yellow card, you also have to go to the sideline as a substitute in the junior college level. But the only 2 major differences between the rules between college and junior college.
Good effort right there by Rojas. Just out of bounds. But
a lot of great efforts across it. This is you and I expected a really good quality game. We thought that's what we would get. And so far in the first 35 minutes of this one, it's been fun to watch. As we got 9:30 left to go in the first half. Howard leads Northern Virginia 1-0 off a clearance goal. Nova was trying to clear it as a push from behind. They'll play on. But Howard scored on a clearance attempt by Nova off of a set play to get the early lead. Rickman, left foot chip. A little too far ahead of both either Fuentes or he had another target on the far side. And despite being run over, and I do mean run over early in the game, Bradford looks to have his wits about him and playing well in the back for Howard.
Well, and again, Bradford, give a lot of credit to his back line, because so far they have not really allowed him to be terribly tested.
Oh, Bradford was a little out of position there, but no quick trigger that time from Bangura, as Nova had a great opportunity up there as Howard was struggling to clear the ball. Deep foot down, flick on, and it's going to go back the other direction. Howard's defensive line has certainly held firm, and they are very good at getting their foot in just the right position to clear it. There's no flailing per se at trying to clear the ball, if that makes any sense. They keep their feet moving as well. Marin with the ball. He'll try and get it up to his offensive guys. Nice effort jumping in, but missed it was Fuentes. But Fuentes now will pick it up, but he started from an offsides position.
You see the frustration, I think, a little bit for Fuentes right now. And now we also have a Nova player down on the ground.
And good sportsmanship here from the Howard players to help him to his feet. Looks like he tangled his feet up. That appears to be Bailey, the Quantico, Virginia native, 5'5", out of Quantico, Virginia, as I mentioned, the defensive midfielder forward. I think that's Bailey. He's limping.
That is Bailey, and he's, again, one of the great scoring threats for this Nova club.
Yeah, 11
certainly
goals and assists.
Hope to see Everton Bailey back out on the field.
Well, he's staying out there.
Or actually, he is. I thought he was leaving, but
didn't call for a trainer. And there was an offsides that stopped the play anyway. They didn't stop it.
And Amankwa,
watch out,
gonna chase this one down. Loses his footing. I think slipped on the wet turf.
But still keeps it alive onto the foot of Rojas, who then is depossessed by Dobbins. Jeez, even when he's on the ground, Amankwa can do something with the ball.
Such an extremely talented player
Oh.
for Howard. He has been very effective in this contest so far.
Dobbins called for the ball from Al-Khalardi. I didn't think
going to come out.
Yeah, that makes some sense. But Al-Khalardi finally went to make the pass, but Dobbins had given up thinking he wasn't going there and ends up kicking it out of bounds instead. As Rickman comes over and thoroughly dispatches the ball into the stands. We should point out we got a decent crowd here today, a little bit smaller than the women's game, but of course the women's game featuring the home team, Anne Arundel. So you can't blame them. They weathered, though, a lot of rain. This one we have not seen any, just a lot of wind so far. Don't really think we will see any until we're done with this one, but again, we didn't expect any rain in the women's game as Bailey!
No worse for wear out on the field for Nova, showing
and
speed.
Gets taken out. And they called play on, and now they will yellow card. And that's probably a good call. It's not Bailey, I apologize. That is on Myers. Myers made no attempt to play the ball. All Myers did was play Bailey. And the official initially called a play on that time and then noticed that the ball was basically entered the defensive end. So Myers.
This could be the best opportunity of the day right here for Nova so far.
Let's see here.
To set up this opportunity, because we've talked about set play opportunities.
26 yards out of goal.
Is going to be a good one.
So they are just about 8 yards off the box. So the box is being put basically on the penalty box line. They got all but one defender, two defenders up. Rickman surprisingly is not up. He's kind of hanging back. Drives it, misses the near post as Bradford gets down for the save. Bailey tried to get sneaky, tried to find a hole on the wall on the near side. There must have been a wall. The wall must not have been in the perfect spot. And Bailey nearly found the near post on the ground. So it'll set up a corner kick opportunity for Nova. Trying to knot it up with 6 minutes left to go in the first half. Floater coming in. It's still loose. Nova's got a chance. Bodmer with it. Crosses it back in. Howard clears it. Bailey cannot control. And it's kicked out of bounds. And Howard withstands that storm.
And Howard coming up with some nice defensive plays there. Bradford coming up with a nice one.
Long throw in. Into the middle. Missed shot opportunity by Bodmer. It falls to the ground for Bangura. Bangura slide tackle. Ball will be out for a corner kick. Clean tackle that time by Fuentes, who is everywhere.
And this is some renewed life here for Nova, putting together their best string of offense in this contest so far. And again, set piece opportunities are critical. Rickman, we have seen what a foot he has on him and his ability.
In swinger left foot, head on it, near post, missed. Rickman's got 12 assists, and you can see there where he can pick up a lot of them.
Another collision.
And by the way, there was Marin coming up. As back into the game comes Myers after his yellow card assigned benching. And we have a player down, but no trainer called, so he'll stay in. Bradford beats the heck out of him on his back to congratulate his efforts by Rojas, it turns out to be.
Well, it was a great play by Rojas. With Marin. Defensively trying to stop that.
Rojas collided with Marin as Rickman's line drive in-swinger almost caught the near post off of Rojas, or I should say Marin's head. Sets up a goal kick, and Myers will do the duties. And there's his foot into as the wind has died down for the first time all day. As we have a collision at midfield. We got 4:44 left to go in the first half. 1-0 lead. Dragons up on Nighthawks right now, but Nighthawks with a renewed sense of urgency have started to put it down the middle of the Dragons defense here. We'll see what they do as they reset everything through the defense. They'll go for the long bomb. That'll be easily played by Bradford, one would think, but he's got some pressure and had some time. He didn't like the presence of Al-Khalardi, but that was a very smart play, though the official comes over and says something to him, so maybe there was an elbow high as he entered the box.
I think one thing, though, that we can expect to see is that Nova seems to have gotten a little more confidence in them after these set play opportunities. They're getting more in their offensive rhythm. So even though they didn't score on the set play opportunities, I think that was huge for them in terms of just getting that rhythm. So I would expect to see them string together a little more offense. Obviously, we're approaching the end of the first half, not a lot of time remaining, but they just seemed again to be playing a little tight, not able to get into their rhythm, and things have opened up a bit for them now.
Marin with a long toss. He's putting some pressure on the Howard defense. Bradford out of his box, can't control it. It's loose. Long shot. Back of the goalpost. Cannot find the open net. Bradford made a mistake, and Bangura could not make him pay for it. As Bradford takes a deep breath. Another missed opportunity. By the way, we still have a whole other half of soccer to play. 3 minutes left to go here in the first half of what is an exciting game as Dobbins hits the back of, I believe that was Francis Amenkwa. And so it'll be a free kick for Howard at midfield. 2:52 to go. Dragons would love to get another one here before the end of the half. Going for the line drive into the box. It is.
Keeper is out of goal.
Yeah, wow. Whoa, he keeps it from going out. Now they're going to call a foul. Assistant official's flag is up. The ball is not out of bounds. Now we're going to get a stoppage as we get a bit of a disagreement here. There was a collision between Riano and I think, was it Fuentes? Or is that Rojas? The keeper down for the second time today. I think they're going to call. Yeah, Riano's gone from injuring his right hand to now injuring his right ankle. But I still don't know what the flag was up for or what the foul was. If they were calling Riano for the foul or if they were calling Simowitz for the foul.
Well, the official talking things over with the captains for Nova.
And now the assistant is talking to the Howard coach, so I'm guessing this is going against Howard. I'll admit, I don't usually see a goalie earn a foul in those situations. Usually they're the ones who has been fouled.
The training staff still
Riano
working
really
with Riano. He has had a rough day today so far in terms of collisions.
You know, we thought after Bradford took the elbow to the face and collapsed that he'd be the guy we'd be watching out for. Now Riano's had the trainer out twice, one for an ankle, or one for a wrist, now for an ankle. And he is in.
He's definitely in a lot of pain.
He's not in a lot of comfort. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. We're determining who his backup would technically be, but believe it or not.
Well, and you have to imagine if he can stay out there, he's going to stay
Russo.
out there. But I'm not sure right now as they're helping him to his feet if he can stay in the game. So he is limping.
He's coming off
the field.
Russo's the backup. Oh, correction. I got the wrong side. That's Howard's backup.
Joshua Fleming is heading out on the field.
Fleming, the Fairfax, Virginia native. This will be his 10th game. He's played the second most minutes for this team at 447 plus. 7 goals against for 1.41 goals against average and a .533 save percentage. He is 4-2 on the season to Riano's 6-0. So certainly a good one coming in. They did say it was Riano with the foul. By the way, the ball has been placed next to the penalty box line. You can't get anywhere closer to the inside the box than right next to the line. So Howard will get an opportunity from 18 yards on a fresh goalie on a direct kick with 2:31 left to go in the first half. Line drive, deflection off the goalpost and over. Wow.
What a play by Howard, a bit of luck there.
Howard's saying it went off of a Nova player, and the official ain't buying it.
Well, and certainly I think Fleming has benefited. There's been some games he's gotten some minutes, so he's an experienced goalkeeper, and certainly Nova has had some games this season where they've been in that position where they can get a lot of their substitutes to get some playing time. But again, I don't think you can overstate the importance of Riano to this team. Not trying to take anything away from Fleming, but
and every goalie's got a different style, so now the defense has to adjust to the different style of Fleming. He may be more vocal or less vocal. He may ask for ask for a ball in a different scenario where Rihanna would. There's a difference in getting adjusted to this. Fleming has basically played about two games or so less than Rihanna. Their difference is about 200 minutes. Figure 2 games is 180 minutes. So he's gotten plenty of experience this season. It's just a matter you didn't want to go to this in the championship game. And we'll keep an eye on whether Rihanna comes back. Again, injured ankle is the reason he's out as the ball goes out of bounds, and Howard will get a chance to throw it in with 75 seconds left to go here.
And Rihanna is over on the sideline. He's got his leg up on the training table, getting additional attention from that training staff.
The ball goes into the box. And we'll go out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick, much to the pleasure of the Nova fans, as they need a break here with a minute left to go in the half. As Rihanna's ankle is being looked at. His shoe is off. His sock is off. And they are testing every part of his foot right now. So we'll have to see what happens after halftime. Is a foul called, and Nova will get to restart. Trying to get a quick strike here with 40 seconds left. Bailey with it on his foot on the far side. Nice spin move. On his left, gets tripped up again. This time, no card, but a free kick, as Cannell is the offender this time.
And Bailey certainly has gotten the worst of it out on the field today. But it's going to be another set-piece opportunity here for Nova. And again, they have been very good on these. They have not found the back of the net, but they have been in striking distance every single time. Bailey very capable.
And Bailey goes to shoot, and his entire team is frustrated. That is 2 direct kicks that they've had that he has shot on the near post. And that last one, half his team had some choice words for their teammate, because I think they rather have had him go and put it in the air. Enough points that some of his teammates have to pull Bailey away from his own teammates. That's how fired up they are, trailing 1-0 at the half here. How will Nova come out? Will they go with their starting goalie, or will they stick with the backup? As the head coach has a conversation with Bailey as well. It's been an interesting 45 to start this game. Yellow cards, goals, near shots, and plenty of other action. Not really sure what to expect in the second half, but I can say this much, the weather's been pretty good. We'll come back in about 10 minutes to get you ready for the second half. For Monica Moore, I'm Dave McHugh. Enjoy a bit of a break. We'll come back with second half action of this Region 20 District 8 championship game between Nighthawks and Dragons. It is Dragons and Nighthawks. 1-0 Dragons the lead.
That's what happens when you show up. Great. John started broadcasting the mics.
Welcome back at halftime here as we get ready for the second half of the District 20 Regional 8 championship game in men's soccer at the Division III level of the NJCAA. It is Dragons and Nighthawks. Northern Virginia, the number 1 seed, trails the number 2 seed. Howard 1-0 in this one. Couple of notes. Let's look at the stats first. The big one for me is that Howard has 8 fouls on the game so far in this one. Howard coming in only averaging about 11.8 fouls a game, so a little high for the first half. But clearly they have a little bit more to play for here. The other thing of note, by the way, we should point out shots pretty even on that one. And just one save from either goalie. It's for Howard and the Dragons with that one save. And that was on Everton Bailey's free kick at the near post about midway through the first half. Other note, we mentioned this one for Northern Virginia. They are to their backup goalie, Joshua Fleming, who is warming up as we speak with his team. The freshman has replaced Andres Avila Riano. Riano tried to run around on a retaped or a taped ankle. It did not look pretty from this side. We are looking at him now, and he's being treated by the trainer, and I believe I just saw a very sizable ice bag get placed on his ankle. He's limping around, so that would officially put Riano out for the game. Riano, who come in with a 0.68 goals against average and only 5 allowed goals, gives way to Joshua Fleming with a 1.41 goals against average and 7 total goals. Joshua came in for the last couple of minutes. I'm now joined alongside Monica Moore. I am Dave McHugh as we get ready for the second half, and we hinted at it, Monica, at the end of the first half, and now we're really talking about it. You and I off air were kind of saying Joshua Fleming probably got a lot of his time in cleanup duty because they had won so many games easily. He is now in for the second half of the championship game with a chance to go on to the Division III semifinals, national semifinals. Nova is to plan C or D unexpectedly.
Well, it certainly has been a big change of events in terms of what's going on for Nova, because going with their backup goalkeeper, and again, don't want to take anything away from Joshua Fleming, but of course the starter is Andre Sevilla Riano, and that's who you want in your championship game. You're down by 1. You've got a lot of ground to make up in the second half, and you have seen how potent this Howard attack is. They have so many offensive weapons, but you know, something that often happens in these games when you have a big injury like this is it just boosts your team up. You rally and you play for that guy. And that's what we have to see from Nova right now in this contest, is they really have to play for Riano because he is out, really do everything they can. They don't want for his season to be over. And so I think you could see that give them this extra boost in this second half. Now for Howard, they started out so strong in the first half. They were able to string together so much offensively. Interestingly, you saw a little bit of a drop-off when Steve Amakwa went out of the game. And he's now back in the game. He is so critical to what they are doing out on the field along with Quentin Valiente. If they can string together some good offense in this second half, that's going to be a good sign for Howard.
As we are underway in the second half, it is Nova in their white uniforms, white shirts, white shorts, white socks, moving right to left with green numbers and yellow trim. Howard is in their black or burgundy, whatever you want to call it, uniforms, moving left to right with yellow numbers and white trim. It's black, black, and on black. Again, moving left to right. And what's interesting about the goalie situation for Nova was it was early in the game that Bradford, for Howard, got taken out with a vicious elbow from Andrew Bailey, the Jamaica native, who we have not seen back into the game as of yet. He is back out there now, not to be confused with Everton Bailey, who angered half his team at the end of the first half when he took a direct kick and tried to score on his own, which he had nearly done earlier in the game, but they clearly wanted him to run a more of a set piece. And they missed a golden opportunity to maybe knot this game at 1 apiece. The ball gets drifted in. Everton Bailey's the target. Bradford stays back. My point being, Bradford, who we thought took a rather vicious hit, is playing well. He's made a couple interesting decisions, but playing well back there. It's the goalie change on the other side of the field that is going to capture a lot of our attention.
That was some nice defensive work by Sawyer Cannell. We've talked about him a couple of times in this contest, just kind of boxing out his player, playing very smart on that defensive back line.
Again, what's interesting in this game for both goalies combined, there's only, or all 3 goalies combined, there's only been 1 save. And that is registered to Bradford. Shots were pretty even going into the half, or coming out of the half, 5-4 in favor of Howard. For Nova, they're playing well. They just got to stick with the system and hope that they can break through. Weather has been holding off. The wind has died down considerably, though we had some gusts. The rain is not here, but you never know when it might appear as the sky has darkened a bit. Interestingly enough, the lights have not been on at the stadium at all today, as we have an inadvertent collision on the far side there. Going to the turf is Jose Marin, taken there by Steve Amakwa, who then gives him a help back to his feet.
Wanted to give you a little bit more of the backstory on today's game. Of course, it was Nova that knocked out Howard last year.
Right.
And so that always sticks in the back of your mind. Now, at the junior college level, a lot of your players were not necessarily on your team the prior year, but still.
Long shot just over the goalpost.
You know that history.
Yep.
And so that's something I'm sure is in the back of the minds of some of the Howard players coming into today's contest. And the opposite, the same for Nova. Nova's been knocked out by Montgomery in the past few years, so that was in the back of their minds when they were playing.
Andrew Bailey made his presence known early in the first half with an elbow to Bradford. He made his presence known just now with about a 30-yard shot over the top of Bradford and over the goalpost for Nova. Nova playing three up front, it appears, with both Baileys on the flanking sides of Ajape, who we did not talk a lot about. He subbed out, and they had some other threats come in. But we'll see what they do here in the second half, as they obviously need to get one here to knot things up at the very least. But more importantly, both these teams want to move on to the championship weekend. And so at some point, it's going to be all hands on deck as Everton Bailey gets the ball. Will try and use his speed, gets a little bit of a tug, ever so much, by Fuentes. Does not get the call from the official.
And his teammates certainly looking for that call.
I think the only one who may have missed that was the official, unfortunately. Everton Bailey showing his frustration by removing himself from the game temporarily on the near sideline. And a foul up at midfield is going to involve Steve Amankwa. And is that Rickman, I believe, as we get a quick restart. As threatening as Nova, Bodmer with the ball will pass it to the far side. They'll use the defense to set it up. Long bomb from Marin. Goal post! Oh, Bradford had to get creative.
That was an absolutely beautiful shot. A nice save by Bradford to time that right and to realize that that was likely going in.
Had just enough topspin to make that thing duck. And Bradford, with the not how you are trained to put the ball over the goalpost move, basically looked like a volleyball setter.
Well, sometimes you have to be a little bit unorthodox.
Absolutely.
That's what we just saw out of Bradford. He got it done.
Opportunity, head ball from Marin, misses the far post, or in this case, near to our side. And Bradford had the post covered, though a dangerous situation. So Howard has come out on their back foot and Nova on their front foot.
Andrew Bailey.
That time was Andrew Bailey,
in
right.
the contest on that. That was a great corner kick.
Yeah, good.
Out of Andrew Bailey, really set up nicely for his teammate.
Dobbin gets his head on it. Everton Bailey tries to play it. He battles with his own teammate, Dobbins, for the ball. A lot of talk out there from both teams. Tumble to the ground. Watch out, Howard's trying to get an opportunity. No, it's thwarted. Good defensive play from Marin to take the ball away from Stephen Makwa. And then got another collision and more players on the ground. And it's Rickman again. And we get a stoppage here. As Rickman says, I don't need a trainer, but we got two players who are down, so the official decides to give them a chance to get to their feet.
So Makwa and Rickman with a bit of a collision. It looks like both are going to stay out on the field.
Yeah, Makwa actually got depossessed by Marin. Oh, was it Mbome? Okay. And then Rickman had a collision with another Howard player. And for whatever reason, they don't allow the restart here. Now they will. So we'll keep an eye on everybody as this thing is getting interesting. Andrew Bailey's made his presence known now, and now he's battling with the Howard defense. And one Bailey's pass to the other is misplaced. Nice header from Bodmer, but can't find its intended target. Nova definitely on the front foot here. Has Howard backed up a bit. Haven't mentioned Valente in a bit, but he had the ball on his foot there a moment ago. Now it's on Cannell's foot, and he tries to feed Fuentes, but it was just a little too far in front of his teammate to wrangle it in. And we are just a few minutes into the second half.
But a tale of two different halves, I think. I think
So
Howard
far.
started out the first half really strong. Obviously, it resulted in the goal by Alfano, which was the big difference maker in this contest so far. But then Nova really picked up the momentum at the end of the second half. They got those set-piece opportunities. I think it really shifted some things. There was a little bit of a disagreement at the end of the half between the team. But regardless, and they've come out in the second half quite strong as well.
Fleming comes out and has to play it with his foot as Rickman had played it back to him.
I think they would like to be able to create a little bit more and not have to rely as much on the set-piece opportunities.
Agreed.
But if Howard keeps giving them those opportunities, they're going to eventually find the back of the net on when they're too good. They have so much talent.
And a lot of subs still to come in that can provide him that. Andrew Bailey with it. We'll give it to Everton Bailey. No relation. As Everton loses possession, Dobbins picks it up now to Rickman. Rickman will try and slice and dice, cannot do it, depossessed. Howard tries to release, and that's offsides. By about 5 yards.
Good call.
Yeah, I think he may have gotten confused with midfield, maybe? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what his hand signals meant. And I got bad news for all of us who've been enjoying the weather. We are minutes away. As I said, the skies were darkening. We are minutes away from the deluge from appearing, and that could change this game dramatically. 8 minutes into the half, we're going to get a substitution for Howard. Fuentes will take a break, and Kyrie Akinkwao will enter the game for the first time, the freshman from Laurel, Maryland. His 14th game. Has 4 goals on the season, 19 shots, 7 of them on goal with a game winner. Again, both teams have weapons they can bring off the bench, whether they're slight or major. And Howard's showing that as well here as we kind of buckle up for the pending faucet to be turned on.
Well, it will certainly impact play a little bit.
Yep.
Speed up play a little bit. Teams
or slow it down.
May have to rely a bit more on their ground game.
Yeah, agreed. It's going to change the boom and run tactics because the field will get even more wet, allowing the ball to skip a little bit more.
And again, players are going to have to be really conscientious in terms of their clearing.
Yep. Yeah, a little bit of an elbow up for Rickman. He doesn't like the call, but his arm was up as he and Steve Amankwa re-engaged familiarities. As we are 10 minutes, about 9 minutes into the second half here. Still a 1-0 lead for Howard. She's Monica Moore. I am Dave McHugh, and hope you're enjoying this broadcast of this junior college men's soccer game at Division III level. Everton Bailey trying to show off his foot speed, but a little too far ahead of him. And apologies for the long pass from Al-Khaladi.
But again, Sawyer Cannell just sticking right with him as we kind of keep focusing in on these defensive back lines because they are going to be critical the waning minutes of this game. Amakwa, a nice idea.
Good, great idea.
Looking for Rojas.
And a tremendous job by Jafari to get back. Jafari did not start this game. His 15th game and 12 starts on the season. You can see he's important. Rickman with the ball at midfield. He'll pass it off to Bodmer, and they'll pass it back to Umambe. Dobbins. Up ahead to Everton Bailey. Bailey trying to play a one-on-one game. Defense clears away. A little chip shot. He tried to go, I think, to the other Bailey, who had turned his back on the play, expecting a bigger kick. Valente, harassed by Dobbins, back to Rickman. Rickman finds a man on the far side. It's the defender, Jafari, up ahead. He'll chip it in, going for the near post and can't hit it, and he's frustrated with himself on missing a golden opportunity.
I know they're frustrated, but they're doing a much better job of controlling the midfield in the second half. They've made some adjustments at the half very clearly in terms of what they're trying to do there.
So an interesting play with the ball there by Nova. Very good possession, trying to hit targets. Jafari would want that one back. The goal kick left very short That could play into Nova's hands. Everton Bailey cannot get up for it. Jape comes back for it. Handball, and is called. I didn't hear the whistle, but it is called on Akankua. Jape with it. Dobbins across to Rickman. Rickman, nice change of speed, and then gets a hand to the face. And for the good sportsmanship that Steve Amakwa had been showing earlier, he's starting to get into a lot of calls. Starting to get a little chippy, starting to get a little extra. And that one hit Rickman square in the face.
Well, and again, we saw this in the girls' game earlier, that emotions just start to run
Good call.
a little high when you get to this level. There's so much on the line. This is a very close game, a one-goal game.
Alcalardi with a drive over the goalpost.
Really quickly. And you get the sense, though, that Nova's players are trying to do a little too much on some of these opportunities.
Alcalardi didn't need to blast that one necessarily. Maybe float it, find a teammate. You wonder if some individual play is starting to overtake the team mentality after just showing some great team play.
But again, when you think about the emotions, you think about the pressure of this contest, what's on the line for these teams. But again, I do credit Nova because they're just doing a much better job working through the midfield,
right
building
now they are,
up, trying to get these offensive possessions here, and eventually they're going to have one breakthrough if they can just continue to pressure this back line.
Jafari throws it in. And Howard's defensive line in great position. A little shove there, frees up Everton Bailey on his foot. He's taken down. No call.
Unbelievable.
No call. The only thing I can suspect from the official is he thought both defenders played the ball, and Bailey was just an accidental result. Bailey's still down in the box and slowly getting to his feet and walking out of the box. My only guess is the official just thought they played the ball first.
That has to be the explanation, but in the box with Bailey, that's going to be a tough one to swallow for Nova, but that had to have been the officials' thinking.
We don't have replay in front of us. You may be able to see it, so we can't make any more adjustment. My only other thought was Bailey played that well in front of him, out of position, but the defenders closed down on it. It's just quickly replaying in my head. I feel that maybe that's what the official thought. He certainly wasn't going to give it to him on Bailey's fall. That said, we have not seen a lot of flopping in this game. We've not seen a lot of diving. It's been a pretty well-played game by both teams as we get a long foot looking for the other Bailey. Andrew Bailey plays it off his chest. In the box, slide tackle clears it out.
That was a nice play.
Beautiful play. Valente.
On the defensive end, timing has to be impeccable on plays like that.
In the box. Oh, trying to release just too far as Fleming will pick it up at the top of his box. Again, if you're trying to figure out where the lines are, flag is up, and the goalie was out of the box. Goalie was out of the box when he punted the ball. It means he had a handball at the top of the box. I was just about to describe where the box was, and I thought he had come over the line, and he now realizes he was over the line. So there will be a free kick for Howard, let's say 18 and a half yards out of the box. I was just about to tell you where the box was because he looked so close to the line. It's at the 8-yard line in football because the goals are back at the end of the end zone. And the flag went up instantly the moment he crossed the line. He still had it in his hand. He hadn't dropped it to his foot. So we have a free kick from dead on as close to the penalty box as you can possibly make it.
And it's looking like
Rojas is
lining up.
The box will be, the wall will be lined up at about the 8 yards out of the goal box. If you're a goalie, you're putting at least 4 or 5, probably 5 or 6 guys on it. He's actually going to put a guy on the post. Nope, he doesn't want a guy on the post. Well, I wouldn't put a guy on the post because you're going to keep guys in play. But he's going to use a guy on the post anyway. He puts 5 in the box or on the ball.
Marking up the players for Howard.
Interesting enough, Howard not flooding the box. Drive, shot, and goal off the wall. It's a second one for Rojas.
Rojas with a great play, and of course a tough break for Nova in terms of how that one broke down. just a bit of a mental error, and then Rojas taking advantage.
Fleming still replaying it with his defense, saying, I thought I was, I'll tell you right now, watching Fleming as a former goalie, he was way too close to the top of the box, and something told me to keep an eye on him, and he stepped over the line. He was too close to the 10-yard line. For lack of a better description, he was too close to the 10-yard line on the football field. And the good job of the assistant referee to keep an eye on it, threw the flag up. And Rojas drilled that shot, Monica.
That was a fantastic shot by Rojas. That is extremely tough to do in terms of that placement.
Well, and he used the wall to his advantage. He drilled it into their feet to expect a little bit of a deflection, and ended up hitting the near post in his view, and beating Fleming.
Nice speed out of Fuentes, and they are really going to need Fuentes right now.
So now Nova's got pressure, down 2-0, 28:45 left, and into the game is Fuentes, as you mentioned, Christian. Here comes the throw. Long throw into the box, head off. And Bradford cleans it up before Dobbins makes his appearance.
You certainly see why they pushed Jose Marin up to take that throw. Yeah. He got so much distance. That's amazing. You see the flip throws sometimes from the girls' game where you get that degree of distance, but wow.
Marin had long throws before. That's the first time we've seen one turn into a corner kick.
That was unbelievable how much.
Watch out. Fuentes has the ball. Tripped from behind. We're going to get a yellow. Maybe a red, depending on where the defender was classified.
Officials
yellow.
And I think that's on Marin.
It should have. No, it should be on Dobbins.
Oh, actually, it does look like Dobbins is headed.
No, you're right. For a minute there, I thought it was Marin, too, because of the way he reacted. But Dobbins is going off. Again, in the junior college level, you got a yellow, you take a seat. Dobbins, listen, I don't think he intended to just flat-out trip him, but he definitely didn't keep his feet from avoiding him. He's lucky he only got a yellow. There was a defender or two back. If those defenders hadn't been there, that would have been a straight red. And so a free kick for Howard, who all of a sudden has the momentum with a recent goal to take the 2-0 lead. Nice float, far post, and Fleming lets it go out of bounds. That one had a little too much mustard on it. Good idea, just couldn't close down the distance. All right, Monica, if you're the Nighthawks here, you've been playing well, especially in the second half, but now you trail by 2. Is there a ton of pressure with 27:39 left here to get one immediately, or do you just keep playing your game knowing you're going to get one?
I think that's the latter, because I think what happens is when you put that much pressure on yourself, you play tight. You see some of the things that we've seen, which is putting a little bit too much on these passes, a little bit too much on these shots. You just can't pay attention to the clock right now. You have to let the game come to you a little bit, because I think right now that's what's happened a bit, perhaps, with the Nighthawks. Is just the pressure has really got to them a little bit in this contest.
Everton Bailey frustrated, didn't get another call as he got the ball stolen. But again, defender got to the ball first. Everton ended up being the recipient of the latter efforts. And Everton Bailey's been rubbing his leg. And Dobbins returns, by the way, from his yellow card penalty. Salazar will take a seat. Salazar had entered for Dobbins off that card. So far, the Baileys have been held, as it were. Andrew Bailey with only 3 goals and 4 assists, but plenty of touches. It is Everton Bailey with 11 goals and assists, who has been talked about but hasn't had a real opportunity. Howard with another opportunity, top of the box. The clear was missed. It's set up beautifully from Amakwa. He'll use the left foot. It's still loose on the line and cleared by Mbambe.
Mbambe just came up with a huge play. What an athletic play by
and
Mbambe.
a nice job of shutting down the clear.
And I have to tell you something about this young man. He is not just an outstanding soccer player. He is just an outstanding person. Something that people don't think about a lot with these junior college players is they go to school full-time. His head coach, Coach Connolly, was telling me he works full-time, working the night shift at Target, coming to training 6 days a week. I mean, the schedule that these guys put together. And when you just see just how unbelievable, I mean, they play on the field, these student athletes, what they're doing in terms of working. I mean, it just says so much about these young men and young women that we saw earlier in the contest today.
Sawyer Cannell talking to the official about an elbow he got from Christian Fuentes. I don't know whether it was intentional or not, but the official wasn't going to call it. Yeah, you know, this is Division III of the junior college level. Reminds me very much of the Division III level of the NCAA as well, where there's more involved than just playing on the field. You got to be a student athlete, and you got to sometimes pay your way.
Well, and a lot of these players, too, are going to go on and play at the next level. Valiente, he's been a bit quiet, but
yeah,
turning on the Jets.
It was a step late there on the tackle attempt against Jafari, and that's why the foul called. But you're right. They will most likely move on. They're either at the junior college level for varying reasons. One could be academics and trying to make themselves better at the higher at an NCAA level, or it could be athletics. They might want to get a little bit more experience, a little bit more guidance or tutelage under a coach before moving on to another level, whether D1 through 3. So, yeah, and some of them, to be blunt, just wanted a couple more years of trade, whether it be a technical skill, getting a chance to play, and they don't have future college plans, but we will see. As both these two teams, though, are putting on a show. And a big collision on the far side as Fuentes takes a hit. We get a stoppage, another yellow card coming this time. It will go to Marin, as Marin was a little late in his challenge with Fuentes. And Marin will take a seat. At least Marin, was sportsmanlike, comes over and apologized to Fuentes. Marin picks up just his 3rd yellow card of the season.
He'll be replaced by number 18.
But as you said, to open up the game, Dave, we knew it was going to be a physical game today. It's the way that these teams play, and then just with what's on the line today. So not necessarily surprised in what we're seeing out on the field.
I'm looking for our 3rd opponent. Keep looking to the horizon to see how long until we see the rain move in. According to the radar, it is not that far away. We might get lucky and get 24 minutes in before
we've had a lot of stoppages of play, though, in terms of
but that's my problem.
and official timeouts. So I hope for the players' sake, so that they don't have to play in the brutal weather, because it's going to add a dimension. But regardless,
seems like it's right there.
They are going to gut it out no matter what. But we still have an injured player down on the field. It's Rojas.
Oh, it's a Rojas. I apologize. I've been saying Fuentes. It is Rojas. By the way, we should point out, we've had some interesting injuries. Bradford took one heck of an elbow from Andrew Bailey, who received a yellow for it early in the game. We thought that was going to be the goalie to watch the rest of the way. Then it turns out that an injury moments later to Riano gave him a moment to visit the trainer for an injured right wrist. And then late in the first half, Riano had some weird collision with, I think, Rojas in the far corner of the penalty box that actually went against, I now know what it probably was, thinking about it so long later. I think he mishandled the ball outside the box himself, because they gave a free kick on the corner of the box, not in the box. But he got injured his ankle in that play, which brought Fleming in. Riano could not get ready to come into the second half, so Fleming remains. Fleming mishandles the ball at the top of the box about 10 minutes ago, setting up Howard's 2nd goal. We've had a number of other players who have gotten banged up in this one. It's been an interesting game, with a lot of the goalkeepers playing roles they didn't really want to be playing in this one. As Cannell will set up the free kick here, about 25 yards out of the box. Nice floater in, defensive header, and out of the box. Nova a little slow to matriculate upfield. Everton Bailey gets past Cannell. I said that Cannell was the one driving it. That's Drew Myers, as they nearly hit us in our broadcast position with the clear. I saw you duck and just hoped it wasn't going to hit the net or the tent. Dobbins with it.
That one courtesy of Drew Myers.
Yes.
Saying hello to us up here.
Drew Myers was the one who had the initial direct kick. The ball's loose in the box. Bradford out and collides with the ground, but holds on to the ball. Now we'll see if he can get to his feet. Yeah, a little winded. Gets to his feet. Wow, Bradford.
These goalkeepers today really have been sacrificing a lot. Bradford coming up with a nice play there.
He stays
held
inside
his ground.
The box. His foot was on the line. Oh, nice steal from Amakwa. Feeds the outside to his brother Francis. Francis against Jafari. Jafari depossesses him with one move. Beautiful steal. And he gets it up, but cannot get it cleanly cleared. Howard regains possession. They lead 2-0, less than 23 minutes to go. Cannot hit Francis on the wing, and it'll go out of bounds. And we'll get a substitution here as Marin will re-enter.
But you do certainly get the sense that the tide turned a little bit after that goal by Rojas in terms of what Nova was able to do in the middle of the field. They need to go back to how they were playing right before that time, and they've got Marin pushing forward. And again,
Marin's
he can be
forward.
quite a threat offensively as well. 5 goals on the year.
It's Andrew Bailey. Bailey trying to spin around his defender. Cross and won't get there. Will it be a corner or a goal? It'll be a goal. As Bailey was unable to deflect it off of Alfaro. 22 minutes left to go now in the second half, and the Dragons lead the Nighthawks 2-0. She's Monica Moore. I'm Dave McHugh. Winner of this game will head up to Herkimer, New York for the NJCAA Division III Men's Soccer Championship weekend in 2 weeks' time, as it's starting to get darker, as the rain is looming, though these players don't know that.
Yes, I think they're much more focused on other things right now.
I don't think they got radars necessarily in their pockets or on the bench. Nice slide tackle by Dobbins. Keeps it in possession for Nova. Into Marin. Marin with a flick. It's loose. Bradford can't grab it, and then dives backwards for the grab.
That was an outstanding play by Simon Bradford right there to keep his composure and his eye on where the ball was, because once he went down, that was a very dangerous moment for Howard.
And to get back to his feet. I can't tell you how
Very
hard
agile.
that is sometimes to do.
Very agile.
Especially to get on your feet and jump in the opposite direction backwards for the ball. That's not exactly in the training book when you train to be a goalie, to jump in the reverse direction. But Bradford getting a workout now as Nova is putting on the Jets. They've gone to a 3-back look here. Dobbin is sagged back a little bit, but Marin is now in the offensive third. He is not in the defensive third as he has been all game.
Well, and that's a tactical decision right now, because Nova is in a must-score situation. They have to be offensive-minded.
Jafari's moved up. Dobbins has the ball, loses possession though. Now here's your problem. The counter is going to cost them. They're going to have to push players back. It's a 3-on-3 now. Now to the delay, Nova will get a 4th player back, but they have to push up. You're right.
And again, Marin is a great offensive option for them.
Absolutely.
So despite
5 goals on the season,
the fantastic defense that he has played all game long, they have to rely on Mbome back on that back line.
And Rickman has slid back into a defensive with Mbombe as well. That's their new look. Rickman will try and set it up, but he's more of a midfielder sliding into a defensive role. Dobbins is playing kind of a triangle in that defensive look with a midfield kind of pushing. And then they're flying their wings up. Both Jafari and Bodmer are their wing defenders who are also pushing in the offensive third as well. So they're flooding the zone.
Just another idea, too, is just to give a different look here. I mean, this defense has seen Rickman all day long.
Yeah.
So they're going to give him a different look here with Marin. Marin's got great speed. He's got great strength and athleticism.
Yeah. Alfaro called for obstruction against Marin. He held Marin up. Marin will put his foot into it. Nearly caught Bailey in stride. Ball back. Al-Khaladi tried to hit Jafari, and Jafari can't hold it, but it goes out of bounds off the foot of Francis Amakwa, and Nova will inbound, and they will play it back to Mbome, and to the near side to Bodmer. Trying to beat his defender, goes out of bounds. They're going to give it to Nova. Right call. Less than 19 to play as the clouds darken, both for the Skies and for Nova's chances here to try and get into this. They are down 2 goals. And
certainly not
look for
impossible.
A cannon here from Marin. Yep, you're right. Not impossible. Not the way Nova's playing. Oh, you're starting to see the gas pedal starting to stick. These guys are a little tired. Valente's got it. They got numbers. It's 2-on-2. Bodmer trying to get back defensively and is able to, as Mbome was able to snuff out the long pass. Bailey comes all the way back to help. And now Dobbins will have it, and he will use Rickman on the right side. Rickman will carry. He could have carried longer, but he gives it up to Collision. Back to Rickman. Rickman will come up the wing. Tripped from behind, and that will get us a yellow card.
Officials timeout.
That surprises me. I thought that was just a general in-play foul. A gentleman's foul, for lack of a better description, but they throw a yellow on Breedlove, his second of the season.
Number 6, Justin
I'm a little
Breedlove.
surprised that tight a call, but nonetheless gives Nova a shot here. They're at the lacrosse restraining line. About 40 yards out of the box on an angle, so this is going to be a floater. Rickman delivers. It's a Howard head that clears it out of the box.
That was Bryce Waller.
Back to
It was a nice defensive play, but you see Rickman just keeps on coming.
And he delivers it back, and they'll set it up from midfield. They are flooding the zone. Fleming's even out of his box at this point for anything that happens to go over his central back.
Well, again,
Oh, shuts it down. Otherwise, it was going to be a 2-on goalie. That's how much Nova has flooded the offensive end, because if Umobe doesn't get that, Monica, there are 2 Howard players against Fleming.
you really have to give a credit to both of these defensive back lines, though.
In
they
front,
have been
Bradford
very, very good today. I mean, Mabome has just anchored that back line for Nova. They've had a little bad luck in terms of what's happened today, but really that defensive back line has been very strong, and the same has been true for Howard. They have just been a brick wall back there. They've really protected their goalkeeper. Bradford's had to make a couple of plays, but it's been on a lot of these set-piece opportunities.
Everton Bailey with it, trying to catch Bradford out of position, but misses the goal. That might be where his team will get a little frustrated with him, taking a shot from 40-plus yards out. I think I know what his intent was, thinking he could catch Bradford out of position, but Bradford was still pretty well back in the box. But that's also where desperation creeps in, with less than 16.5 left to go in the half and still trailing 2-0 after flooding the zone with everything they got. They're basically almost playing with 1 defender back now when the position is right. Fuentes fighting for it, up to Bailey, and Bailey can't run onto it. And now Howard.
Cannell and Myers are just doing a great job over on the near sideline right now for Howard. They are quite a team trying to shut down these runs by Nova.
Here comes the long throw from Cannell, and Mambe comes onto it and able to keep it for Nova. So the one thing Howard's struggling with right now is maintaining possession. Partially because Nova's flooding it and has more numbers, but at the same time, they're also trying to boot and go. That could be dangerous. Bradford comes on, and Everton Bailey can't do anything about it. Well timed by Bradford, nearly better timed by Bailey. Bradford eats some clock, but also wisely waits for the opponent to get out from behind him. A moment ago, Jose Marin was playing some games with him.
Bradford has had an exceptional contest. When you think about that save that he made that was either mistimed or whatever it was, but he was able to knock the ball over top of the net. That was his most conventional save. But a lot of these plays coming out of the net, and we called it unorthodox at the time, but a lot of these saves, he's had to come out of goal, get in the mix with a lot of players crashing in around him, keep his wits about him. His best save was the one where he recovered.
You're right, because that one was heading to the net, and if not, wasn't going to be kicked again. And he dove backwards 6 yards to scoop it out.
I mean, to me, if Howard hangs on and wins this game right now, he's the player of the game for them because of those plays that he has made.
After the shot he took at the beginning of the game. I still have that replaying in my head. He got crushed as Steve Amakwa dials in closer to earning a card. He keeps with these little chippy plays. He doesn't have a card on the season, if you can believe it. Flick on by Howard accidentally. Nova's going to get a chance here. Does not let it roll out of bounds. Bailey cannot handle it. This could be trouble. Bailey with a great recovery. Rickman with a left goes off of a Howard back, and so it'll be a corner kick with less than 14 to go. And if there's ever a set play needed right now for Nova, it's this. They got to take advantage of it.
You have to imagine they're looking for Wyatt Bodmer right near here. His coach told me he has a 40-inch vertical. Just didn't
Bradford
get high
hits it.
enough over to him.
Dobbins with a left, can't get it down. Bradford had it slip through his hands.
Substitution.
Whew. Take a breath, folks.
It's certainly getting exciting here. Nova doing everything they can to try to generate some offense. Time not on their side, but they are giving it everything they have. As we said, they've switched up their lineup, pushing players forward.
Dobbins, by the way, was banged up on the play. He's holding his inner thigh area. Yeah, this has been, hey, this has lived up to our expectations, has it not, Monica?
Well, remember that Dobbins was the player that took the, I think, 5th penalty kick in the semifinal contest, limping and bloody, and just knocked it in the back of the net. So he's going to be out there on the field if at all possible. You know that.
Everton Bailey is frustrating has been frustrated by himself and by Howard. He has also been frustrated his own team on a couple of occasions. He's got the ball back on his foot. Dobbins nearly steals it from him. And Bailey's dribble ends up giving Howard an opportunity to break out. Valente trying to use his speed, and he will be rubbed off the ball by a defender to let the ball go out of bounds. There was a sub ready to come in, much to the frustration of Nova. Dobbins will take a break. We're going to go a little bit more speed here. Dobbins is very good with maintaining patrol or possession, but he's a bit banged up. And so coming in will be DIII. The announcer said he was returning. I don't think he's been in the game. But Ahmad DIII will come into the game. Just his 9th game of the season. The ball goes out of bounds. Sets up another corner opportunity with 12 minutes left, and Nova is running out of opportunities here. The entire defense, except for Rickman, is into the box. Rickman, change that, will go up, and they will actually send the smaller Andrew Bailey back, despite the fact the corner kick was taken anyway. Nova wasn't ready for that. Jafari overthought that attempt. I know what he was trying to do, but he wasn't in position to pull that off. But again, back to that, they were still switching who was going to go in. Rickman was still trying to get in. They rushed that corner before the team was ready.
Well, and I think the time is in their minds right now. They're really trying to make something happen. It really changes the contest if you can get it to be a 2-1 game as opposed to a 2-0 game. You had asked that question earlier, Dave, about in terms of, you know, thinking about the clock and thinking you need to score now.
And now the pressure's on. They got to get 2 in the next 11 minutes. They're going to use Fleming here, I think. Mame's getting dangerous. He doesn't want to use Fleming. That might tell you a little bit of confidence, no confidence in the keeper. As a former keeper myself, my defender decided not to use me. That tells me a lot. Everton Bailey with it on his foot and is used as a pinball between 3 players. Takes a spill. It was definitely a foul, but I think Everton's trying to make it seem bigger than it was. The difference is, though, there will be a direct kick here for Nova.
So another good opportunity here for Nova. They just have to be very smart, and it looks like perhaps Rickman
just outside the box
will take it.
Rickman and Bailey discuss it. I think if I know how the end of the first half happened, Bailey's not going to touch this ball. Rickman will do the honors, using his left to try and in-swing it. Nice in-swing, back post header from Jafari, misses. That was a great look.
It was a great job by Rickman, and again, 12 assists on the season. I think he was a good candidate to take that opportunity. He did his best work with it, just couldn't get it cleanly on the ball to really make any type of trouble for Simon Bradford, but a good effort.
Less than 10 minutes to go. The Dragons of Howard lead the Nighthawks of Nova 2-0 in this one in the District 20 Regional 8 championship men's soccer game. The winner goes on to the championship weekend for Division 3 in the NJCAA. She's Monica Moore and I'm Dave McHugh, and expect the last 10 minutes to be frantic as Nova, the #1 seed, trying to get back in this. They have a 1-0 win over Howard earlier this season. Howard trying to avenge what happened last year. And a little pushing and shoving, just a wee bit. and it will go to Nova's advantage. Nova playing with a backup goalie after their lead goalie got injured late in the first half. His second time he got injured in the half. And that backup goalie is the reason,
for
I
Riano,
hate to say it, for the second goal.
Riano, a sophomore, you just hate to have him have this happen in this contest. This is not the way that Riano wanted things to go today, and he really gutted it out after the injury in the first half.
Oh, nice move by Marin. Marin with a right foot far corner, but saved. He had that thing lined up.
And that's why they have Jose Marin pushed forward right now, because of that ability right now. That was a great take.
Marin,
by the freshman defender.
But he's an incredible offensive threat when necessary. Dangerous kick called that time on Bodmer.
But let's talk for another minute about Simon Bradford.
Yeah.
Because he really, as I said, has been just very solid in this contest. He has been very composed. He has made some very capable plays for his team.
And again, I go back to it. First few minutes of the game, he got absolutely crushed on an elbow from Andrew Bailey on a bang-bang offsides play as the rain is starting to fall. And the fact that he has been able to stay in the game composed, that he didn't get a concussion because it was one of those kinds of hits, is spectacular.
Well, and to me, the save that he just made, yes, a lot of goalkeepers could have made the play, but I think what it is this pressure-filled situation. He has played so smart with his positioning not to get himself out of position.
Right.
So it looked like maybe an easier play to have made because he was smart on the outset in terms of where he was.
Going back to the women's game, 3 goals allowed, 2 of them I would have said out of position. Not in a bad spot, but just not in the right spot. He was absolutely in the right spot for that shot from Marin. If Marin had hit it, you credit Marin. Bradford, though, had that well read.
I think that's exactly right.
As it looked like maybe trying to buy a call. Bailey with it. Fires Bradford with another save. And he had that one well read and snuffed it before it could bounce.
Again, he's just being very smart. And with this pressure field situation right here, I think, again, to me, Simon Bradford's the player of the day so far.
Big and big and big. He's taken pressure after pressure. He had no saves at half. Well, he had 1 save at halftime. 1. He's got at least a half a dozen by this point. Might free for a third. Can it happen? Fleming stays out deep. He has to. Quickly gets it out to Rickman. Rain's starting to fall. Trying to get too cute. Bailey tried to throw it. Rickman uses the face of the defender to have it go out of bounds. Bodmer will throw it in now.
It's Sawyer Cannell again.
Cannell's been
for
beat
Howard.
up. Rickman with the left, going to the far side to Bailey. Bailey with a flick on, and Bradford will have that easily held, and Bailey hits the deck for the umpteenth time today with 6 minutes left to go. Rain not falling too heavily. Not sure how much it will affect the last 6 of this, as once again, Marin playing games with Bradford. The referee has already said a few times to Marin to cease and desist. We'll see how long he gives him with that. Bodmer plays it. Bodmer turning, trying to play it somewhere. They will not go back to Fleming. Jafari with a far side. Missed Rickman. And now the deep boot will have to be played by Fleming. Well, the ball skipped. Now Fleming will come onto it with his hands. And he will roll it. And Mbame will try and do something here. Time is running out. We are coming up on 5 minutes. And Howard's got the 2-0 lead on Nova. And Jafari just collided with Rojas on the far side and is slow to his feet. The referee didn't see it. I barely saw it in the corner of my eye. The assistant official didn't see it either. Another through ball by Bailey. Not sure what he's trying to do. His teammates don't know he's going to do it. That time, DIII was late coming over because he didn't realize it was going to be a through ball. It's basically Bailey's trying to fake and never touch the ball and let it go through him, which is a nice play if your team knows it's happening. And Fleming will come up to play this with his foot. At some point, we're going to see a goalie in the penalty box if they need a goal that bad on a corner kick or something. That's how much Nova's flooding the zone. They're basically playing with one defense. Rickman gets tangled up and fouled. Steve Monkwa doesn't like the call, but he did inadvertently foul Rickman. Everton Bailey will trip up and go the other direction. That's interesting. Bailey was trying to get the call his way, and he ends up tripping the other player.
Right now, for some of these players for Howard, they need to just play smart.
Yes.
The ones that have yellow cards can't afford to get another one.
Agreed. 4 minutes left.
And this has been a very physical contest.
Rain continuing the fall, luckily not heavily. Long ball, mistimed by both players. Modmer with a nice using his body. Turn and face. DIII from behind will get a foul called. That's just ill-advised. Don't give him free opportunities would be what the coach says. And that was a free opportunity given by Akankua. I know I butchered his name. I apologize, folks. Up to Everton Bailey. Challenged from behind well, and now the foul will be called. That's the way to earn one. As Alfaro played too aggressively, it's up ahead. DIII with it. Rip shot, and Bradford still read it. Couldn't clean it up. Left a rebound opportunity, but tremendously played by Bradford. If he's not playing at in the NCAA level next year or the year after, I'd be shocked, as this time it is Andrew Bailey who is badly banged up. And the official comes over to check him. He is hobbled.
Well, again, the thing for Bradford that has been so impressive is he puts himself in a position to make good plays. He is very smart. He's very focused. He reads things very well, and it has served him exceptionally well today in this contest because, again, doesn't look all that flashy at times, but it's because of the preparation in advance that he's where he needs to be. He's not out of position.
Very much reminds me of the guy I played behind in college. Just not flashy, as you said, knows where to be at what time and knows how to time his attempts. Just keeps it simple.
And I think the other thing is he has a lot of confidence in his back line. If he doesn't get the ball, he can at least do something to give them an opportunity to clear it. He knows that he's got that solid back line in front of him. And we saw that on that play right there. He makes the big play, and then his team comes in.
Looks like Bailey actually had cramps, but I'm not positive, by the way, since the clock stopped. Howard decides to take advantage of it, and they send Valiente out, but they bring in a defender in his place. They try and get a little bit big. It looks like Breedlove came back in, but somebody else came in as well. I just lost track of who it was. Nova doing their best. Nice job by Steve Amikwa to break up the defensive efforts there. 2.5 minutes left in this one. Nova needs a break now if they want any chance. Deflected in, and Bradford doesn't overreact, holds his ground, picks up the ball. That deflected 3 times on the way to Bradford. Bailey's ready to come back in. But time is running out. 2:15 left. Nova either better get a goal quick or this one is done, and Howard will be moving on. A nice steal. Shot just misses the far post. Fleming had it somewhat covered.
Wow. Amakwa was calling for it.
Amakwa was calling for it, but I got to give credit to the rip there. That one was a beaut. But I think the smarter play would have been to give it to Amakwa. All right, here we go. Minute 45 left. Nova basically the last chance to get into this. They got to score now. They might have just lost the opportunity. Up ahead, Simonwitz, and the ball goes out of bounds. It might give Nova one last chance, but there's 90 seconds left to go in this game. I'm not sure how many chances you can get in 90 seconds in a 2-goal game. Howard has done a tremendously good job in the second half of withstanding the storm and just taking their opportunities when they came to him. 75 seconds left. Richmond left foot floats it in. Flick on, it's going to get in the back of the net. And just like that, Nova's within 1 goal off of a deflection or own goal. That's the only way I can describe it. It's either a deflection goal, which is going to go to Rickman, or it's an own goal on the defense. And with 69 seconds left, it is a 2-1 ball game.
This game has all of a sudden changed unbelievably.
They gave it to Marin. And Rickman, his 13th assist on the season. So they said Marin got a foot on it. Honestly, there were so many bodies there I couldn't see. So Marin picks up the goal. It's 2-1, 69 seconds left.
Well, remember, he's the one that had the game winner against Howard last time these two teams played. So Marin has been a tough offensive option for Howard to contain on the season. And again, you see why they have pushed him forward.
1 minute left. Howard just booted it down for a goal kick smartly. Don't play it backwards into Nova's hands. Make Nova go 120 yards, and they will. 50 seconds left. Let's see what they can do here. All of a sudden, this is a ball game. Try to throw it in there. Defense clears it. It's still bouncing around with 40 seconds left. Back to the defense. Tahir has it. 37 seconds left. He'll use the right up to Bodger. It's cleared again by Howard. 31 seconds left. Big clear.
And Amankwa just played very smart right there.
Upfield.
It is all
It's
about
still in
time
bounds.
management right now in this contest
This
for
will end
Howard.
it. 20 seconds left and a foul. What? We got a whistle. Oh, we got a flag all the way upfield. Said it did go out of bounds. I'm sorry. The assistant official saying it went out of bounds, so we lost 10 seconds anyway. 6 seconds left. Rickman will use his left foot up ahead. That's going to do it. Howard clears it out. There's no chance of it. Bradford comes up big for Howard as the Dragons upset Nova 2-1 to advance to the semifinals of the NJCAA Division III National Championships.
Congratulations to Howard. They played a very smart game, particularly at the end of this contest. Head coach Stefan Dragunov, his team is so well coached. We knew that coming into this contest. They played very well today. Again, my player of the game is Simon Bradford. The way that he came up big in the second half of this contest, the plays that he made, again, nothing flashy, just steady throughout this contest. He was tested because, give credit to Nova, they really put a lot of pressure on Howard in the second half of this contest, really peppered with shot opportunities and tried to get back into this contest. There was no quit in Nova today. The Nighthawks really put everything they could into the second half of this contest. But again, all the credit to Howard to withstand the storm. They played an exceptionally strong team today, and they came out the victors.
You talk highly of Bradford, and rightly so, but I was watching Joshua Fleming. As the half ended, Fleming devastated. Because to be blunt, it is a Fleming mistake that leads to the game winner. Fleming, losing track of where the penalty box was, punts a ball with 29 minutes left to go in the second half, a yard out of the box, which meant he was holding it a yard out of the box. The assistant official sees that, lines up a direct kick that Rojas buried off the wall, and Fleming's the backup who comes in for an injured Riano, and I have to feel for Fleming. He's going to be devastated with that one.
But it's a 90-minute game.
It is.
So
that's,
yes,
that's a mistake
the play.
Goalies don't make.
It's a play, but
I am one. That hurts.
But at the same time, it's a 90-minute game, and it's not all on the shoulders of one player.
But as good as Bradford played, it's an interesting dynamic on the other side of the field for Fleming, who's going to feel that way. But you're right, 90-minute game.
I mean, I think that, Bailey would like to have some of his decisions back.
Sure.
I think that, you can't put all the blame towards one person.
Oh, no. I'm just saying it's an interesting dynamic. As great as Bradford played, that the play that's going to end up being the decider is on the other side. And Fleming comes in. Riano is banged up and injured. This was a game filled with everything. we had a little of this and a little of that, and Bradford played his rear end off. And hats off to Nova too. They tried everything. They absolutely tried
I mean, that's, I think, what was so impressive to me is what they put together in the second half in terms of offensive opportunities. They gave Bradford the opportunity to shine because of all the offensive opportunities that they were able to put together. There was no quit in the Nighthawks today. Again, just a credit also to Coach Connolly and his coaching staff because this is a well-coached team that never quit in this contest. They really fought to the bitter end of the contest for them. They put that goal in the back of the net. Congratulations to Marin on that play.
It's interesting. Both these two teams kind of where they haven't been before. I mean, Howard has certainly had success before, but not maybe to this exact level. Nova had not had this success before.
They won in 2010.
Howard certainly hasn't had a lot of it, is what I'm trying to. They're rejuvenating under their head coach what they've had. They haven't been in this situation. I mean, last year they were 9-10-0. They'd been struggling for a few years. Nova, as you had said all game, had never been in this situation. So to watch both these programs fight it out today, after last year fighting it out as well, hats off to both programs. You got to feel for one of them had to lose. Unfortunately, it's another one-goal game for these two teams. And Howard will move on to the national championships. You almost wish Nova could get one of those extra bids maybe to get in, because they certainly deserved it as well.
It's certainly a good point. They're a phenomenal team. They've had a phenomenal year. Congratulations to them on that, and congratulations to Howard on their win today, because it was a gutsy, gritty effort out of the Dragons to get the victory.
Bradford put on a show in goal. It was 2 goals from Howard to move on, including a deciding one by Fuentes with 29 minutes left to go in the second half. I should say Rojas in 29 minutes left to go in the second half. That gives them the 2-1 win, though that late goal by the Nighthawks with 69 seconds left certainly made it a little bit more interesting. But Howard will move on to the NJCAA Division III Championship weekend in 2 weeks' time in Herkimer, New York, and see how they will do with that opportunity. Well, Nova will unfortunately go home as the rain falls at the end of this game. 2 pretty interesting games here on Anne Arundel's turf. In the women's game, played completely in the rain. Anne Arundel cannot keep going with the magic as Montgomery was able to beat them to move on to the championships. And in the men's game, mostly played in the dry with a little rain at the end. It is the Dragons of Howard moving on over the Nighthawks of Northern Virginia. Hope you enjoyed this broadcast. We'll stick around for the post-game ceremonies for you to at least be able to watch. But for Monica Moore and myself, I'm Dave McHugh. We will sign off for our part. I want to thank our production team, who not only kept themselves dry, but kept the gear dry as well on a tough day. Unfortunately, they got to break all this down, so I tip my hat to them. Thanks to the Anne Arundel County Community College group here in Arnold, Maryland, for their efforts to put this together as well. Well-hosted event, well-broadcast event as well. For Monica Moore, I'm Dave McHugh. For our broadcast team, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Congratulations to Montgomery women and the Howard men moving on to the national championships in Division III NJCAA. We will sign off and wish them luck. Good afternoon, everybody.
Fans, at this time, we'd like to honor our men's region tournament District F all tournament team. From Anne Arundel Community College, Ryan Gruss. From Prince George's Community College, Carlos Gallix and Celio Grice. From Montgomery College, Giles Bevan and Jose Pessoa. From Northern Virginia, let's welcome Jose Marin, Everton Bailey, and Trent Dobbins. Congratulations. From Howard Community College, our all-tournament team members, Christian Alfaro, Simon Bradford, and Drew Myers. We would like to offer our congratulations to the 2017 Region 20 and District F runner-up, Northern Virginia Community College Nighthawks. Congratulations to Coach Connolly, his staff, and the Nighthawks on an outstanding season. We'd also like to offer our congratulations to the 2017 Region 20 and District F champions, the Howard Community College Dragons. Congratulations to Coach Dragonoff, his staff, and the Dragons. We'd like to wish them good luck next on November 9th through the 12th, as Howard Community College will represent Region 20 and District F at the National Championships in Herkimer, New York. Good luck, Howard. Fans would like to thank you for your attendance, your support of our student athletes, and braving the weather this afternoon. We invite you to drive home safely and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you.